What's up? So I'm gonna have to criticize someone in my extended family for signing on to an op-ed in the Anchorage Daily News with a Zionist criminal. So Heather Barbour, if you didn't see, signed on to an op-ed in the Anchorage Daily News with Zionist criminal Abram Goodstein. Right? She signed on with Zionist criminal Abram Goodstein. Abram Goodstein is a Zionist criminal. In this disgusting op-ed, Heather Barbour tried to do a both sides on genocide. Heather Barbour let Zionist squatters off the hook for the genocide that they are committing. Heather Barbour let Zionist squatters off the hook for settler colonialism. And the most disgusting thing about this is Heather Barbour's husband is Palestinian. Heather Barbour's husband is most likely related to me. Most likely some sort of cousin-in-law, if not distant cousin, right? That's the disgusting thing about it. Heather Barbour paints her views and tries to project her views onto the Palestinian community in Anchorage as a whole, onto the Muslim community in Anchorage as a whole. Heather Barbour does not represent the Ummah here in Anchorage. Heather Barbour does not represent the Palestinian community here in Anchorage. Heather Barbour projects her liberal Zionist sentiments and the Zionist sentiments of Abram Goodstein onto Palestinians in the Anchorage Bowl, onto Muslims in the Anchorage Bowl. But she does not represent us. There are no two sides in genocide. The Zionist entity is literally committing a genocide. The Zionist entity is literally committing a genocide. And what does Heather Barbour do? Heather Barbour runs cover for them. Heather Barbour's husband is a Palestinian refugee who was born in a refugee camp in Syria. Her husband, who happens to be a cousin-in-law or cousin of mine, distantly, most likely, was born in a refugee camp in Syria and is Palestinian from Al-Khalil. That's disgusting. That disgusts me. That disgusts me as a Palestinian American, as a Palestinian, as someone whose maternal grandpa was part Palestinian, with roots in Jaffa, with roots in Akka, and with roots in Daliyat al-Karmal, and the family later migrated to Al-Khalil, where my 49th great-grandpa, Musa ibn Nusayr, the great Palestinian Umayyad general, was born, right? I'm Palestinian. I'm part Palestinian. And for Heather Barbour to do a both sides on genocide, run cover for Zionist squatters, and co-author an op-ed in the Anchorage Daily News with a Zionist criminal named Abram Goodstein, who is a literal Zionist criminal. Astaghfirullah. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Heather Barbour does not represent the Palestinian community in Anchorage. Heather Barbour does not represent the Muslim community here in Anchorage. Her husband might be the spokesman of the masjid, but she does not represent us as a whole. Muslims in Anchorage want Palestinian liberation from river to sea. We want extradition of Zionist squatters. Palestinians in Anchorage, both Muslim and Christian. And again, I'm speaking for Palestinian Muslims. I'm speaking for Palestinian Muslims. We want liberation from river to sea. We want extradition of Zionist squatters. We want right of return. It disgusts me that Heather Barbour co-authored an op-ed in the Anchorage Daily News with a Zionist criminal. A Zionist criminal whose values are murderous and genocidal. Heather Barbour does not represent Palestinians in Anchorage, Alaska, or Muslims in Anchorage, Alaska. Even if she reverted and accepted Islam, even if her husband is the spokesman for the masjid and is a Palestinian Muslim, and is a Palestinian refugee who was born in a refugee camp in Syria. Heather Barbour does not represent us. Heather Barbour, by running cover for the Zionist entity, by running cover for the genocide that the Zionist entity and Zionist squatters are committing, does not represent Palestinians as a whole in Anchorage. So just keep that in mind when you read that article. So there you go.